So let's talk about the foods in context of nutrients and how they relate to our fertility. First is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a family of nutrients that, for the most part, will end up broken down into simple sugar molecules called glucose. You might hear this referred to when talking about blood glucose levels. This is our body's primary source of energy, but in the past century or so, processed foods containing large amounts of sugars have made it easier to consume larger volumes of carbohydrates. For example, when wheat is refined down into white flour, the germ and the bran are removed in order to increase the food's shelf life. What's left is the starchy endosperm, which makes flour fluffy and more tasty. But the problem is that the germ and the bran were what contained most of the protein and the folate, B vitamins, carotenes, and other antioxidants and omega-3s. So not only does this strip away what nutrient value the food once had, it also allows the food to be digested rapidly, which affects blood glucose and causes spikes in insulin, which over time can lead to insulin resistance, a hallmark of PCOS and other hormone disorders. In fact, around 70% of women with PCOS are insulin resistant. So managing what carbohydrates we eat and how we eat them is an important first step for that population. In a 2017 study of 340 IVF patients, women who drank even one soda a day compared to those who did not received around 10% fewer oocytes. Of those oocytes, 15% fewer were viable. Of those viable oocytes, around 10% fewer were able to be fertilized. And of those that were able to be fertilized, 23% fewer developed into top quality embryos. On the other hand, carbohydrates like vegetables and whole grains are rich in micronutrients and are a primary source of fiber. In a prospective cohort study from Harvard University, the group of women who ate the most whole grains compared to the least had a thicker endometrial lining, making them more receptive to the embryo transfer. These women had a 32% higher implantation rate and a 51% higher live birth rate. As you can see, we need carbs in our diet because they contain an abundance of micronutrients and are our main source of fiber and energy. To set some boundaries, around 45 to 65% of what we eat should come from carbohydrates. And while the wrong kinds of carbs can cause big problems, others make a huge difference to your fertility, like whole fruits and vegetables, beans and legumes, starches, and whole grains.